Welcome back. Now, communities affected by mines are once again hoping that their concerns will be addressed at the mining Indaba that gets underway in Cape Town tomorrow. Communities are concerned with the exclusion as core stakeholders and the lack of community participation in reforms. To discuss this further, we are joined by Meshack Mbangula, who's from the Mining Affected Communities United in Action Group. Thank you so much for your time, Meshack. We do appreciate it. Let's just start off with some of your demands. What are you actually asking for, and is this directed to the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy?
Yes, as communities, labor, organized labor, we're obviously demanding that we should be included in the decision making, in the stakeholders that make decisions on issues of mining, issues of development and employment, growth of economy, and those that are very important because they make decisions about us, without us, which is affect us negatively. So we demand that we should be part of that, so that we can make decisions that will be informed by communities. And obviously it will be easy to implement them. And we obviously demand that it should not just be a stakeholder meeting, but highly stakeholder meeting. Initially, when they take decisions, we should be part of that. But they make sure that they exclude us. Even in the mining, it's about business, government and the labor, but the communities are sidelined. So we demand that we should be part of the decision making, and issues of development, issues of growth, issues of employment. That's very important. We should be part of shareholding so that we can be able to. If you look at what happened from 1890 to 1994, this country was dysfunctioning. And 1994 going forward, still we saw poverty and starvation comes in because the government did not make any means, to create jobs or to engage communities. That's where the problem is, because they are doing things without really contacting communities. We engaged them. We even went to court in 2018, February, and demanded that we should be amongst the people who are formulating the charter. And unfortunately, the court, it was in favor of us to say we should be part and parcel of formulating that charter. But unfortunately, even with the court order, they decided to sideline the communities. So we are writing this letter, definitely sure to make sure that our demands are met as communities, civil societies, labor organized people, to make sure that we are able to benefit from the minerals as communities. But as we speak, we are sidelined.
Yes, so you mentioned this 2018 court ruling that said the community should be involved, and perhaps this links to my next question. Why do you think mining communities are being excluded from being part of these discussions and sitting around the table with the department and other key stakeholders in the mining sector?
It's because, as we speak, we are not part of that mining Indaba. It's just business, government, possibly a part of labor. But communities are not part of that, and we write a letter because we've been doing this. I would say 10 years ago, trying to force the government to engage us. We've been picketing, writing letters. We had 50,000 signatures that we signed, demanding that we should be part of the stakeholders. We went to Speaker of the Parliament, and we gave them those 50,000 signatures, which demand that we should be part of. And later on, later on, we even went to Parliament to give those 50,000 signatures to Portfolio Committee, which spoke to DMRE about this issue. And later on, they decided not to engage us anymore. As we speak, that's why we write this after a year ago. That's why we write this letter demanding that inclusion of communities.
Yes, but Meshack, I'm trying to understand why, if they've given you any reason as to why they do not include you in these discussions and do not allow your participation as the communities from these mines to participate. So have you been given a reason why they don't allow you to be part of this, for you to need to be going to court and needing to be right to the Portfolio Committee of Parliament? Why, have they told you why?
Yes, for instance, if you are dealing with the capitalist, few elites that are rich, obviously there's greediness to make sure economy goes to the few elites. For instance, what happened is in 1994, we only shifted white capitalist elites in the parliament, and we just put black elites in the government. So they are not interested in making sure they elevate the life of communities. The reason that we ask why are they not engaging us as we speak, it's not there. But we demand to be part of that. And it's because they're undermining communities. At some stage, the minister indicated that we were not organized. Then they are undermining us to think that we don't understand the issues of growth, development, and all that stuff. And we seriously understand those issues, but unfortunately, they don't have a concrete reason why communities are not part and parcel of the decision making. It's because we think, and we know, it's because they are greedy, ruthless. They want the minerals for them, and they use that for foreign investment and nothing for local investment, which leaves us with no jobs, poverty, inequality. And that it's a very serious problem. So it's about greediness, because they don't want communities to be part of it. We are a nuisance to them when we talk about being part of the decision making. That's where the problem is. In many of these mines around South Africa, they don't really engage communities. That's why we're demanding that this should be a law. Free, prior, informed consent should be a law, so that we should be consulted, not just when they've already written that law. We should be part of the policy making laws, so that they can hold them accountable for not able to include us. So there's no reason. It's because they want to benefit themselves as few elites, nothing else, and over and above that, corruption.
Meshack, so tomorrow is the mining Indaba. It kicks off. The Minister of Mineral Resources, Gwede Mantashe, will be there together with other key stakeholders of the mining sector. What is your plan going forward? Will you try and engage them at the mining Indaba? Are you going to try and get the attention of specific individuals or the Department of DMR? What's your plan going forward?
Firstly, the mining Indaba is in Cape Town, and in Cape Town, there's not a mining area. That's one problem that you can see. There's people that are doing wrong things. They're avoiding to have the affected people in that mining Indaba. 10 years back, we've been getting to Cape Town and marching to the mining Indaba, putting demands of inclusion in decision making. And now, I think it's about 12 years, we've been doing that. So we believe that we will engage in serious actions, sometimes civil disobedience, where we'll make sit-ins so that they can be able to hear us, because as we speak, they are just avoiding us, not talking to us. So we are planning to do serious actions that will make them to be disturbed and attend to our demands of inclusion in decision making, making laws, policies, all those things that will make sure that we are covered. Our constitution talks in Section 1, talks very well that we should live a dignified life. But when it comes to reality, it's the opposite of that in terms of irony.
When you say serious action, what do you mean?
We do, amongst other things, to get inside the mining Indaba and make a sit-in, make sure that the meeting doesn't continue until we are part of those meetings. If we have to chain ourselves into the gates, we can chain ourselves. It's just making sure that they can't continue with the meeting until communities are attended and part of the decision making, because they're making decisions to take these minerals outside the country to so-called investment when they're just looting our minerals without benefiting communities. And that is wrong. So we're saying we should be making sure that we benefit out of the minerals. Everywhere you go for the mining communities, they're very poor. You see poverty, you smell poverty. So in this regard, and now they're having mining in all the world is there to decide on how they maximize their profit, and nothing for the communities. That is not can be accepted. So it's time, and we're doing that to make sure they attend to our issues. Include us. Let's make the policies. Let's make the laws. Let's even engage in changing the Mineral and Petroleum Resource Developmental Act that talks about how to control mining.
Just lastly, Meshack, sorry, I'm trying to get as much detail as possible. Is your plan to do this sit-in that you've just mentioned as of tomorrow, because mining in Indaba starts tomorrow?
Well, we obviously gather together and plan how we're going to do that, because they've got very high security and all that stuff. But we will plan and see how we do such things. But we really have to do something around that. We've been picketing for 10 years into mining in Indaba, and as I speak now, we gave them memorandum, our demands. They've done nothing, and every year we go there, and it's time where we should act. If we had to go to be arrested, it's fine, but we cannot live like this and have. Especially, you look at the issue of women; they bear the destruction of these mines seriously so, and nothing happens. So something must be changed around these issues.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening, and we'll definitely check in as to the developments around this very concerning story, because these communities want to be involved in the mining sector and not just be used as workers, because these communities, of course, contribute quite significantly to the overall mining sector. That was Meshack Mbangula from the Mining Affected Communities United in Action.